Hello, everyone, and welcome to Seeing Double, a podcast within a podcast that talks dynamic double features while the world burns around us. I'm your host, Jeffrey Brown. It's my birthday again, but this is a week later. Time travel. Join with
Yep.
us today. He loves whip play and leather clothes. It's Carter Sims. What's up, Carter?
I'm the spy. Good to be here.
He's the spy, baby. We're back. But we're not alone, Carter. As always, we're joined by my personal favorite scruffy looking nerf herder. It's Jackson Meehan. Hey, Jackson.
Okay. Hey, what's up?
Oh, yeah, that's actually the best part of the whole movie, but we'll get to that. And we are not alone. This guy's been around a lot, and somehow he has returned. Friend of the pod, Davy Willen is on. Hey, Davy.
We fly now.
We fly now.
We fly now.
Anyway, enough of that talk. Let's get into the main show here. Seeing Double.
Hallie Parker! Oh, don't do this to me. I'm already seeing double.
Today we're talking about Rise of Skywalker and Dial of Destiny.
He said it so
See
enthusiastically.
similarities here. The reason we kind of paired them together. I mean, the obvious low-hanging fruit is they're both legacy sequels, and of the legacy sequels, they're final chapters. There's debate on whether or
Supposedly.
not they'll drag that out, but that was the marketing of both of them.
Yeah.
And obviously, Harrison Ford plays a role in both in franchises that he's probably most well known for. Any other things that you guys kind of noticed as you were doing rewatches?
John Williams saves the day in both of them.
He continues to be
Nominated
goated.
for both.
Yeah. Both premiered at Cannes. That's not true. Only one of them did. But
Yeah.
I
yeah.
remember reading the headline about like the standing ovation for Dial at Cannes. I was like, that seems really good. And then someone was like, oh, that's 8 minutes is horrible. They must have been bored out of their minds if they were clapping for that long.
That needs to be
Like,
studied, the Cannes standing ovations, because they
Supposedly,
don't
isn't that going to be a Studio Season 2 episode that takes place during a standing ovation at
in
Cannes?
Cannes. Yeah, I think
That
so.
That would
sounds
be
fun.
awesome.
That's
Oh,
where
that's
the
crazy.
next season of White Lotus is taking place too, like during Cannes Film Festival, which is
Oh yeah.
I
Helena
wanna know
Bonham
what
Carter,
happened.
rest in peace.
Yeah, I want to know why she got
Gotcha.
booted.
Yeah.
I read that it was because Mike White wanted her to be more boisterous and like a little loonier.
Sure.
And
she played Bellatrix. She can go there.
She's done. She's
apparently
done
she
with
didn't
her.
want to.
She's done with her loony phase.
She's divorced from what's his face now, right?
Oh, I
So,
Tim
didn't know
Burton.
that.
yeah, maybe.
They've been separated for a while.
Yeah, a couple
Oh.
years.
Sorry to break the news to you, Davey.
I need a moment.
He just kills himself on camera.
True love.
Anyway, anything else other than did you notice anything or have anything jotted down, Jess?
I mean, both Lucasfilm production
Yeah.
company,
Yeah.
both
movies,
franchise
and
too.
they both use de-aging CGI
True.
to
Yeah.
varying degrees of success.
Great call.
Yes. Yes, they do.
Well, boys, I think let's start with Dial of Destiny.
Good call.
Yeah, I agree.
Quick little background there. 2023, directed by James Mangold, first of this franchise to be directed by not Steven Spielberg. I think he EP'd for it, though, if I'm not wrong.
He
Carter.
did.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Quoted as saying, I thought I was the only one who could make a good one of these. So we'll
And he's
debate
right.
that. James Mangold obviously directed Logan, Ford versus Ferrari, A Complete Unknown, slated supposedly to do a Star Wars movie.
And a swamp thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still happening.
Yeah.
think so,
He's
but
been attached to
I'd
it
like
forever,
it.
but I don't. Who knows? His is like a
know
high
if there's any progress
council
on it.
Jedi thing, right? That's what he was. has been
It's
attached to?
Dawn of the Jedi or
It was
something
like
like that.
10,000 years ago type
Yeah.
beat.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Just to talk about him for a moment, I think he's a good director. Like he's a director that gets me to the theater because I respect his work.
He's a steady hand. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So tagline, a legend will face his destiny. Pretty boring.
Sure.
Yeah.
I feel like he's done that 4 other times. Yeah.
Yeah, literally. Log line is finding himself in a new era and approaching retirement. Indy wrestles with fitting into a world that seems to have outgrown him. But as the tentacles of an all too familiar evil return in the form of an old rival, Indy must don his hat and pick up his whip once more to make sure an ancient and powerful artifact doesn't fall into the wrong hands. So, yeah, I mean, that's a pretty apt description. I would say that that's like the plot of all of them, other than just mentioning that he's old now. Um, it is starring Harrison Ford, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Matt Mickelson, Boyd Holbrook, Oliver Richards, Ethan Isidore, Toby Jones, and Antonio Banderas, with cameos from Karen Allen, spoilers, and John Rhys Davies, who is now a Seeing Double two-timer. So,
Hey.
And the ghost of
Ooh.
Shia LaBeouf.
in the Coast of
Ooh.
I noticed in the viewing today that there's a photo of him at the beginning
Is
Yeah,
Oh,
oh
I
really?
did notice that.
on his
Yeah.
desk. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, Last thing I'll mention before we get into our thoughts is that it had a budget of $387 million,
Jesus.
and
Jeez.
its worldwide gross was $383 million. So it did not make back its production
Oh.
budget. Its estimated online IMDb production budget.
Mm,
But I think it's safe to say this movie didn't turn a profit.
no.
Um, so with that, was this, I'm assuming this wasn't a first time watch for anybody.
Nope.
No, in fact, when it came out, Davy and I hopped on. I don't remember why Jackson wasn't able to make it, but Davy and I chatted about all the Indiana Jones movies, and talked
Mhm.
about Dial of Destiny. So it's been a while though since we touched it, but I think that I don't know if it's the same with you, Davy. That's the first and last time I watched it.
I think I saw it twice in theaters, but other than that, I haven't seen it since.
And Jeffrey
So
watches
this the
it
same period.
every month, I think.
Yeah, this is a comfort movie for me. This is actually only the third time I've watched it. So I saw it once in theaters and then once probably like 18 months ago. But I think about turning it on like once a month.
Sure.
Um, I think I'm in the minority, so I'll save my thoughts. I'm curious
I
to hear
I think
the
I'm on your side.
hell.
So
Yeah.
no longer minority, just split.
Yeah, we're
I'm
just split.
like
So I'd love to hear the dissenting view.
I'm somewhere in the middle. I gave it 3 stars. I gave it three
Yep.
stars when I saw it the first time. I didn't change my mind. It's really, it's really strong in the first act. There's a lot of great set pieces. There's a lot of good things going on. It kind of, and Jackson made this point, so I'll let him lead it, but it's very long and you can feel the length of it. After kind of the first act, and yes, James Mangold is a steady hand, but you can tell like if these set pieces were in like Steven Spielberg's hands, I think it would be a lot better. Um, you can just feel it, and maybe that's just bias against like it's better than Crystal Skull, don't get me wrong, but I still think there's some pretty sweet set pieces in Crystal Skull that
Hmm.
outweigh these. Like the chase in Morocco doesn't do anything for me. The underwater stuff doesn't do anything for me really.
Hmm.
Um, but that parade sequence is excellent in the beginning of the movie.
It's amazing.
That's like that's the strongest part of the movie, and I think it kind of there's some stuff to admire as it goes on, but that it kind of flutters for me. I don't know if you feel the same way, Jax, but that's how I kind of felt about it.
Yeah, I mean that set piece from the moment the Nazi guy shoots the gun in the air and everybody but Indy ducks to
It's good
him
stuff.
like riding horseback through the parade and then like going into the subway, I think is like one of the strongest set pieces
That's good.
for Indiana Jones in general.
Yeah.
Um, I, I think, you talked about this in the description of the film, Jeff and Carter, this kind of gets at that too. Like, I love the idea of this legacy sequel kind of placing him in this, he's an aged up character, like now more consistent with his age as an actor now. And it is kind of set in this story of like, okay, well, archaeologist adventurer isn't as cool as like a spaceman who's getting back, and we're kind of like looking more to the future than we are to the past. I think that's really interesting. It
Yeah.
kind of has that like Butch Cassidy kind of feeling, which is like really generous to this movie, I think, because I love Butch
Very.
Cassidy. But
Yeah.
like just like the framing of that setup, I think is really interesting. And then it doesn't stick with that at all. Like it kind of just like becomes like a background aspect of it and not like the main lens or focus of the film. And for me, another part of it too, like that could I think would have folded in really nice. You have Mads Mikkelsen's character who is this this Nazi scientist who was kind of wrapped into like Operation Paperclip and was kind of like brought into the American government to do work for them.
Yeah.
And I think that's like an interesting foil to like this Indiana Jones character who is this academic professor and like adventurer. I don't know. I think like that could have been another cool thing to focus on a little bit more. but it's just so broad in what it's trying to do that I just don't think it totally works. I also gave it 3 stars, Carter, which is what I gave it originally. And I
Yeah,
will say, compared to The Rise of Skywalker, I think this does a lot more right than wrong
definitely.
overall. Um,
Yeah. It's
but
not
for me,
inoffensive to me at all. Like it's just very,
no.
yeah,
And I think maybe the biggest problem with some of this stuff is like the de-aging CGI effects in this movie that kind of make it feel like a video game just by looking at like this young Harrison Ford uh monstrosity, but
hmm
also just like the set pieces in general because they are like heavily focused on like CGI and like not in camera tricks. Like I think in general it feels like a really cool spin-off video game that I would play or watch people play, but like as a movie I feel like it's not hitting all the right beats and like feel in the camera for what an Indiana Jones movie is for me. But um
Also,
yeah.
speaking of, there is an incredible Indiana Jones game that has come out post Dial of Destiny that really does scratch a lot of that itch.
good.
Cool.
I've heard good
Anyway,
things about that. Yeah.
yeah.
Of course,
Um,
the Star Wars fan says the tie-in material makes a better picture. If you haven't read the comics, you wouldn't get it.
I don't. I don't know. Davey, what do you think about it? You're on
I
Jeff's camp. Yeah.
am more a defender. I'll say this: it's my fourth favorite Indiana Jones. Um,
Over Crystal Skull. Yeah.
yeah, the which is like it sounds bad in a just as a statement, but I consider the first three to be like masterpieces.
Well,
Um,
we did Crystal Skull on a singing double too, and we actually Jeff and I had some fondness for it. Looking back, I don't.
I
Yeah,
don't dislike me saying Crystal Skull is five is not a horrible mark. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like saying you're the
fine.
fifth best player behind like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Wilt. Like
Sure,
you're still good.
sure.
You're saying,
Um,
wait, which
Generous.
one is Dial of Destiny in that?
it's
Wilt
Wilt.
Chamberlain?
Not
Yeah,
That's
really.
crazy.
it's not Wilt, but regard it's
I
you
get
can
what you're
still
saying.
be yeah. There's
I'm
wiggle
with
room in
you.
there.
Yeah.
I appreciate this is the most like nitpicky thing that is just so superficial, but the previous four films all had some sort of gnarly mystical death
Sure.
that I that Dial didn't have. And I wish there was some
Mhm.
sort of I was like waiting the whole time for some cool time related or like death. And it just was some guys got hit with a harpoon. That was it.
Yeah. Then the plane blew up. Right. That was like
Yeah.
that
And
was
you see like
Mads
Mad's burned face.
and Boyd. Yeah. And yeah. So
Yeah,
I do like that it sort of deifies Indiana in an emotional aspect because in the previous films we see him get sort of vulnerable, but not as vulnerable as when he's discussing the
totally.
death of Mutt and the dissolution of his marriage with Marion. And I think
Totally.
that is a really cool character moment that
Sure.
young Indiana Jones just seemed like invincible,
agree.
and he no longer does.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was an interesting retcon for I guess not even a retcon, just to kill him off screen and not have him in the movie, but also like provide like emotional growth for him. It's like kind of fridging, but because it's Shia LaBeouf, I think it's like okay and actually provided an interesting
It's it's the best thing
progression for his character.
it's the best thing Mutt has done for the franchise.
Hey,
Is
he's one with the
That's true.
monkeys, man. Come on.
that is my least favorite scene in
That was
all
pretty
of the
cool.
movies.
He gets hit in the balls a lot on that car when he's sword fighting.
True.
Yeah, good stuff. Anyway, Jeff, you haven't gotten to sing your praise yet.
Yeah, I think I agree with some of the points that you guys are making. I really strongly echo Davy's last point there, just about the emotional element. The moment when she says like, "What would you even tell him?" Like she just kind of has her joking banter, and he's like, "I'd tell him he's gonna die," and like you can hear his voice crack. Like
Sure.
that gets a lump in my throat. I think that's really effective for a character I don't give a fucking shit about at all. Like so I did think that that worked. The divorce stuff on the flip side, you kind of they kind of like it just feels like okay, this is just what Harrison Ford does with his legacy wives because he did the same fucking thing with Leia.
Sure.
Where he loses his son and can't reconcile the grief, but that almost just felt like a way to like not have her in the movie until the end. They kind of did the same thing with John Rhys Davies at the beginning, where he's like begging to go, and and Indiana Jones, who's the same age, is like, no,
You're too old.
all right, this
Give
kid,
him hell, Indiana Jones.
right.
Gets hit by a
Um,
car. Yeah.
because they even have that like a line where he triumphantly, or he goes like, perhaps, and then he triumphantly goes, perhaps not, and like you think that like maybe he's gonna come, and then he doesn't anyway. So like the framing of that was just kind of funny, but I think on the whole, this movie really works well for me as like the swashbuckling adventure it is. Like on every surface level, I find all the set pieces really engaging. Other than the car chase in Morocco, I'm not a car chase guy anyway. It's kind of visually white noise to me. Um,
I
I
like
don't
it
like,
when it's practically done, I guess, is
yeah,
what,
Mhm.
like, when I'm actually seeing the cars go down the street and stuff, like, it's very CGI heavy.
yeah. But like I disagree. Like on the with you, Carter. Like I think the underwater sequence really works for me. It's really cool and interesting.
Sure.
I agree on the parade. The train at the beginning, yes, his face. I thought it
It's
looked
bad.
great last time I saw it. Great in quotes for what it is, but this time, like watching it on my like iPad, which is like an OLED screen, it just looked worse. It looked fake, like especially some of the shots looked really bad.
Yeah,
It's like
when are
rubbery, and then some of the like running shots of him, it's like that looks like an old man running. Like, why didn't
That's
they
the
just
thing. You can
like,
tell it's an old man in a mask. Like
yeah,
yeah.
his
like
expressions are limited, his voice,
Hmm.
obviously.
when are we going to learn that we can just cast younger actors? We're not
I'm
going to
so fine with that.
I'm not
Yeah.
going
I
to
think all the
bat an
managers
eye
are
that
though.
it doesn't look
But
like young Harrison Ford completely. That doesn't bother me. Like,
yeah,
I think the problem with recasting is that we're fine with it, but you have so many vocal minorities who would lose their minds to be like,
sure.
that's not Indiana
you
Jones, like
just
death threats to some random actor who gets cast.
I mean,
well, it didn't
Like,
sure.
make
you're not
money anyway.
Indiana.
One and two, like it because it's in the first. It's not even the full first act. It's just the opening.
Mhm.
It's like the cold open. You don't even have to include it in marketing material.
Yeah. And
Like
I like everything in the cold open except for that. That just takes me out of it. I like the train sequence. I like
yeah,
all that,
Mhm.
like all of that, like when the train curves and like the
yeah, it's
gun is shooting it.
awesome.
That stuff is
Really
great.
cool.
Um,
I
I have no
think
problem.
my only like small list of complaints because it's a 4-star movie for me, like a comfortable 4-star. But then when I start comparing it to 4.5 and 5-star movies, I'm like, oh, all right, well, it's not that good. But like I think the things that are holding it back are I agree with you, Davey, a lot that it needs to be a little bit weirder. I think like that's
Mhm.
something that I forget about earlier stuff, and then I go back and watch it. I'm like, okay, these movies weren't afraid to be a little disturbing.
Yeah.
It's definitely missing that. It's a little
No
bit
one's
white.
ripping his heart out of his chest.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I
No
was
monkey
expecting
brain.
like Mads gets hit with that metal pole in the train sequence, and I was
Mhm.
expecting like part of his face to be like reconstructed or a little like at
Oh,
the end,
That
like
would have been
Indy
cool.
removes a metal plate or something, and his face is
Yeah.
all
I
That
had
would
it
have
in
been
my
sick.
notes that he's fucking dead. Like
Yeah.
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 his head pops like a melon there.
They don't really
And then
address that at all.
they almost set it up to be like, oh, there's something to this because like he's like undercover is not like a Nazi guy, even though he like obviously is like a German dude or whatever. And it's like, oh, what if he isn't this guy? Like he's something, like he did something to him that like I don't know, like it kind of sets up like there's maybe a
And they
twist in
ref
there and then it's
Yeah.
nothing.
and they even reference it, I think, because he like next time he sees Indiana Jones, he's like he said he makes some sort of reference to ringing a bell. That was like
Yeah.
kind of alluding to him hitting his head on that thing. Um, so yeah, that aspect, and I think the main mystery itself lacked a little bit of challenge. Like I would have loved to see a different red herring or something like that to kind of add a wrinkle to it or a little bit of frustration to the unraveling of like the chase because it all just seems to go pretty well for them. Like every time they're encountered with a puzzle, they just so happen to be the experts who instantly have the answer.
Yeah, that all that felt a little just sloppy to me. Where I know all these movies are globe-trotting movies, but it really felt there was a reason to go to the place, and it was always just like, I know this guy in
Hmm.
Morocco
Mhm.
that's doing a deal. I know this frogman who just happens to be in Greece that can help us. Which, by the way, I'm not sure why Antonio Banderas said yes to this.
Really,
But
I like him in
I liked
this.
his appearance.
I
I
I
it's
was
do.
fine.
vibing
I'm
with
just
it.
like, it feels like like almost beneath him more. Like it feels like a small, very small role.
He probably got paid a lot to have
Well, it could
and
have been
Antonio
Sure, and I
Banderas.
get it.
and who
Like
knows, it
if
could
you're
be a
offered,
franchise of his that he always wanted to be in or something.
yeah, like if you're offered Indiana Jones, obviously you're not saying no. Like you'd be like, yeah, I want to be in that. So, but
Especially
yeah,
because
but
they
he,
filmed. It looks like they filmed somewhere nice.
yeah, and he's just so
True.
thanklessly killed. Like he's just like, like
I almost
out
would
of
have
nowhere.
loved to see him because he was clearly having fun.
He's great.
Like, in, and this is a dual comment with I think Mads Mikkelsen is almost like so aggressively typecast as a villain in this. Like, it's almost like too perfect. I
Sure,
would have loved to see Antonio Banderas utilized as a villain, and like that.
totally possible.
Obviously, he can't be a Nazi or whatever. Just but like rework a story where he's the villain because I think that would have been like a
Hmm.
Yeah, it also
fun.
doesn't always have to be Nazis. You know, I
Well,
mean,
there's
True.
Russians.
there's Russians in Crystal Skull, and obviously
I
there's
I get it though. Just given like the nature of the story and like the Hitler's like obsession with like the mystical and magical,
Hmm.
and so
makes
like
sense. It does make
it creates
sense.
a perfect foil for him in this era. So I get it, but I
And
agree.
it and I get it. Like I mean, that was one of the great things that like Spielberg chose to do.
Hmm.
He's like Nazis are the ultimate bad guy.
Hmm.
Why not make them the villain of all these movies?
I
I get
kind
it.
of love a pitch of like him going to Argentina to hunt down the Nazis that have like fled,
That'd be
and like it's
awesome.
like you can't escape Indiana
I
Jones.
would watch
Like that'd
that.
be fucking cool.
I'd watch that in a heartbeat.
It's
Absolutely.
the sequel to the Young Indiana Jones series. It's just Harrison Ford beating the shit out of.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
You got to wonder if
I
there's a world
also just
where.
like
Go ahead, Jax.
oh, I was just gonna say, like, do you guys like the final act of like this time travel kind of set piece? Like, does that like do it for you in the same typical Indiana Jones way? Does it feel I don't know if it's like not out of reach for like the stuff that they typically do. You have the Ark of the Covenant, you have the Holy Grail, but like time travel just kind of feels a little bit different from his usual
A lot of the
shtick.
like the previous stuff, other than Crystal Skull, like the previous three films really dealt with like the theology of
Hmm.
like
Mhm.
these ancient.
Hmm.
So like the fact that it departs from that a little bit, and I get why. Like it does feel a little foreign because it's like dealing more in like this the sciencey portion of it, and like Indiana Jones is not a scientist; he's an archaeologist.
It's sort of like how
Hmm.
Crystal Skull did too.
Right.
It was
They
like, yeah,
Yeah.
knowledge was their treasure.
And like
Miss me
thematically,
with
I
that.
get how it's like kind of like, oh well, I'm not a space traveler, but I'm a time traveler, so I'm even better than the astronauts in this. Like it kind of ties back to that in a way,
Sure. Yeah.
but
I
Well,
would
it's
I don't
him
have.
like,
know.
go ahead, Jeff.
I liked it.
Mhm.
I do like it. Yeah, I think the one moment of it that doesn't work for me is this like weird kind of half-assed revelation that oh, it was always going to come back here. This was a call for help.
Yeah.
Like I didn't like that they then ship like this like cool kind of tool that calculates these like happenings and disturbances throughout time, and
Hmm.
that you can somehow use it to do math to see where it's going to take you and when. It's all to just kind of be like spared all the way down to like it's like a homing beacon in this one era, and then it kind of like disrupts even the like what feels like a clever and engaging twist of like, oh shit, we aren't in the same place in the universe anymore. There has been continental drift. The Earth is moving. Oh no, what's going to happen? Of like, oh, like that doesn't even really matter because no matter what they
No,
went through
no,
or
it
when,
it it wasn't gonna matter.
it wasn't going to matter. Which that's kind of dumb because that's kind of an intriguing twist on it, and which could have been a fun foil for that guy to die in a really weird, twisted way, where like all of a sudden he doesn't exist anymore, and we see him dissolve into time or something
That would
like
be sick. That
Totally.
would be sick.
that. So
Yeah, like and the logic too of like they don't know about continental drift. It's like, dude, the Earth is light or not light years, but like very far away in space of where it was whenever, that time period was too. Like you got more to worry about than in
yeah,
continental drift in that aspect.
for sure.
But I guess I kind of liked the idea of going back to World War II again. It's like, okay, you literally have him back in like his prime, but not like his prime, like action time, but as an old
Yeah.
man. Like that's kind of interesting. But like, obviously that didn't happen either. Also, like, it was a beacon for help, but did they really help? Like, what did they actually do while they were,
They
They
I
just
think
scare
the
him away.
ships got
there?
driven away.
Yeah, they say that
Sure.
they made the Romans
But
retreat.
Okay.
okay.
Uh,
Cool.
Because they
yeah,
thought it was a dragon.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
there are
think,
cool reveals leading up to that where they like go to his tomb and realize he has a wristwatch on. Like
Hmm.
that's
yeah,
cool. Like there's propellers on the tomb. That's like a
Yeah.
whoa, what does this mean?
for
So
sure. I think like when I first saw it in theaters, I really wanted him to stay in the past because it just felt like a really interesting thematic. At the time, it felt like an interesting way for him to like wrap up his arc of
yeah,
like just
you're a
revisiting history.
fossil. You go, yeah, with
But
time.
now that like you've pointed out, Jackson, of like this dichotomy of him in the space race era and like looking forward, I agree with you that I would have liked them to make that a more prominent lens, like,
Hmm.
Yeah.
and like him, and almost like that being the like the climax emotionally of like, what am I doing living in this past? I need to go and push forward.
Well, I mean, it's
Yeah.
so funny because even in Last Crusade, in like the beginning of Last Crusade, Indiana Jones is not young Indiana Jones, but when it flash forwards to older Indiana Jones, he's saying his
Mhm.
line like, "This should be in a museum," and the guy says, "So do you." And that was like, where is
A
that in the
while
timeline here?
ago.
That's 20 years later at least.
Yeah.
So just crazy that we were even iterating on that back then, and now we've just completely come all the way to where
Yeah.
we are now. But yeah, crazy, crazy stuff.
There, there's one thing politically I think is sort of prescient with both of the movies, not done super well in either, but just the re-rise of Nazism in modern times, like
Sure.
it trying
Sure.
to take root in the present of
Yeah.
whichever film we're watching. Um, and the fact that in both movies we watched Nazis, they're all losers. Like Mads Mikkelsen was just grasping at straws, and like he thinks he has the same personality sway as Adolf Hitler and could command the Nazis better, but we see him just he's ineffective as a leader. Um, and I think that is really fun. I also appreciate the twist, like I think in all of them but two, where if Indiana Jones doesn't do anything, they still lose.
Right. Yeah.
Like they go back in time, they're lost in Raiders. If they open it, they die.
Yeah.
They drink the cup, they die. They find the alien, they die. They
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Eh, And yeah, I agree, David, that like I feel like both of them are supposed to tackle like new age fascism or fascism post World War II, and they both kind of fumble it like in weird ways that we'll definitely get in with Rise
One
of
more than,
Skywalker.
yeah, one more than the other.
Like I think they definitely dropped the ball in that regard.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
The
But
la
also like another thing too, like I do love Phoebe Waller-Bridge
just about to
as
talk
like a
about this.
character in this.
Yeah.
I think she's totally successful. I think her banter is really good and like she
They
has
have
like a
good
quippy
chemistry.
delivery of that universe. They have a great chemistry as like the goddaughter godfather
Uh,
relationship. You know, Toby Jones is her dad, which is a little questionable to me, but you know,
Yeah.
whatever.
Her mom wants to go to smoke show.
Um, and then just her being, yeah, literally. And then just like Indiana Jones being like, the dial doesn't make any sense. Like he went crazy trying to figure that out. It's like you've seen the Ark of the Covenant, man. Like I think anything is like probably possible in this universe. Like you've seen some crazy shit in your life.
Yeah, I was
Um,
glad he had a moment later where he's like, he kind of
kind of
acknowledged he
acknowledges it.
can't see some things because I had that exact same
mhm.
thought of like, I think at that point, nothing gets past you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, you held the cup of Christ in your hand. Like,
You've seen, yeah, literally.
you've talked to 1,000-year-old man who like turned to dust in front of you, and
You've
yeah,
seen
you've seen aliens,
aliens.
and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I
but
think that I agree that she's great in it. I thought the kid was cheese.
Mhm.
I think he's like
yeah,
a
I liked them.
fun
yeah,
flavor.
I thought it was fine. It was clearly a let's get our short round in here. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Sure.
clearly
Where's
filling
the
But
out.
short round series I've been hearing about?
I don't know. Is Kihi Kwan returning?
I heard he said he would. He said he wants to, which if
of
like
course
of
he
I'm
course.
wants
sure. I'm
I'd
sure you
watch
would.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't know how much we want to talk about this more, but I think I do kind of want to end this specific segment talking about like, is this a franchise that could benefit from like a James Bond treatment where like you kind of stick in these pulpy adventures and like you recast the Indiana Jones every now and then and like you get to kind of do these timeless tales? Or do you
Um,
prefer these stories to kind of age with Harrison Ford?
I think we can keep doing these, but you don't have to call them Indiana Jones. Like I'm fine to watch
Mhm.
a
Sure.
swashbuckling adventure movie in this
In
same
general,
vein.
yeah.
But like, I
Yeah.
mean, I think we've talked about this before, but like, it's very clear that Harrison Ford um, really holds the ownership of Indiana Jones more so than Han Solo. I think he could care less about Han Solo, honestly, as time goes on. But I think Indiana Jones is his baby, and I think he would like hate to see it in someone else's hands, honestly. So
Sure.
I'm
Okay.
fine to let this sail off into the sunset and just do something in this similar vein because I enjoy these stories where they're just, go on adventures. I'm fine with that. Didn't have to
I
be the
think it
I
would have.
Go ahead, Davey.
I was gonna say I think it like my answer would have been different if I grow like if it had been the first trilogy with Harrison, and then they had been like, here's I don't know another actor as Indiana Jones. I
Sure.
would have been fine with that if I'd grown up with it. But at this point, like Carter said, let's just make you can make new adventure movies without Indiana.
Yeah. The first
Sure.
three are kind of like held in very high regard for me. Like I love those
Hmm
movies. I don't even really consider Crystal Skull to be part of that, even though it's a Spielberg one. But yeah, those first three, like if it ended there, that would have been great. But, you know, money, money talks.
Yeah, I mean, I would watch 1,000 more of these. I just think like Indiana Jones is the only franchise in this space in the modern era who has nailed the appropriate tone and quality. Like you have Uncharted and Tomb Raider and The Mummy. Um, and they just all like are either too goofy or too self-serious, or like you have Mark Wahlberg in it. It's just like this is like the only like where we already have the recipe book of how to do it right.
Yeah.
So I think in that regard, if that's what it takes to put the filmmakers in the right mindset to make it in this style,
Hmm.
then yeah, I'd see Alden Ehrenreich as a young Indiana Jones.
The
Like,
difference is the filmmaker. Like that is what like I couldn't even tell you who directed Uncharted. I couldn't tell you who directed Tomb Raider, like off the top
yeah,
of my head. Like it
Sure.
really you need the steady hand to make these they're all about action set pieces and like getting from point A to point B. And if you can't do that
Hmm.
well, then it's forgettable and your characters suck because of it. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm totally not into the idea of like keeping an IP alive just to do it.
right.
But it does kind of feel like if there was a franchise to kind of do like the American version of a James Bond, like I feel like Indiana Jones is
hmm
I wouldn't mind
probably
it. That'd
the
be
one
fine.
to do it for.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just like pulpy Nazi fighting adventures. Like I'm
Yeah.
always down for more of
I'm a
that.
if
sucker
they
for those.
announced a new one with a younger actor, I would absolutely go see it.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
doubt.
Mhm.
Shia LaBeouf.
Where's River Phoenix?
That's what I was saying. Is there a world where like River Phoenix has taken the helm if he's still alive and like is doing this now?
No,
Yeah, you're probably
Maybe
right.
Was he
I know.
young Indiana Jones? Is that what
In
you're
the
pulling
Last
from?
Crusade, he was the
he
young
wasn't the
Indiana
actor in
Jones,
the
and
show,
then
though, was he? At
no,
that,
he
No.
at
wasn't.
that point? Okay.
Okay.
But
Harrison Ford makes one cameo on the show. Apparently, I've never seen it.
good for
Really?
him.
Yeah, he shows up as old man. He plays like harmonica or something. Has a beard.
Don't we all? It
Oh,
comes for all of
cool.
us eventually.
Any other closing thoughts from Davy Carter?
I still like it. It's still very
Yeah,
serviceable.
I like. Yeah,
Oh,
I just like the world of Indiana Jones.
Same.
same. Yeah. Yeah, I would watch it again right now. I'm not even kidding. I don't know.
Okay.
It's so watchable for me.
I
Let's
would
actually
throw
not
this on before. Yeah.
let's not talk about Rise of Skywalker, actually.
Just turn on Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I guess we
With
have to.
that, let's talk about Rise of Skywalker.
I know I'm in
Woo!
the minority here,
Yeah, already before we start,
Really?
I'm
but
aware.
I do say that with a couple caveats. It is my. I always when people ask
Wait,
me to
before
rate
you
Star
even say
Wars.
this, let Jeff introduce it
Yeah,
and then
let
you
me.
cook.
Oh, sorry.
Then you
Yeah,
can
cut
cook.
that. Jesus Christ.
I'm
That's Saban.
sorry.
Come on,
No,
dude.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Um, Rise of Skywalker, 2019, directed by J.J. Abrams. Obviously, probably most known for Lost, I would assume, but also did Mission Impossible 3, Star Trek, Star Trek Into Darkness. Hasn't really done, or and then of course, The
Force
Force
Awakens.
Awakens resurrected the franchise in that way as well. Tagline is
Super 8.
Super 8.
Super
Yeah,
8's great.
I've never seen that, but it was huge when I
He's
remember
got a new
that.
movie coming out this year too with Glenn Powell.
What's it called?
The Great Beyond. Is that right?
I don't remember.
Something like that. Return to
Oh,
sci-fi
it is
for
the Great Beyond.
JJ.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, it's got Glenn Powell, Jenny Ortega. Anyway, the tagline is "The saga concludes."
Boy, does it.
Yep. Logline is the surviving resistance faces the First Order once again as the journey of Rey, Finn, and Poe Dameron continues. With the power and knowledge of generations behind them, the final battle begins. Starring Daisy Ridley, Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, Adam Driver, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, Anthony Daniels, Naomi Ackie, Tom Gleason, Richard E. Grant, Lupita Nyong'o, Kerry Russell, Eunice Sotamo, Kelly Marie Ian McDermott, Billy D. Williams, and then a cameo from our very own Harrison Ford. It had a budget of $275 million and it made a little over $1 billion. So
That's first of all crazy that Dial of Destiny had a higher.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I was like, $100 million clearance is
I will say
wild.
Dial of Destiny, one last comment on there. I felt like a lot of it was shot either on set or on location. Like it wasn't, it had a practical feel to it, whereas
I
Rise of
agree.
Skywalker can struggle with it. Anyway, Davey, give
Cook.
us your
Hey,
thoughts.
okay, so the caveats, I always judge Star Wars movies differently because I don't know if you guys know this, the listeners. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so it's like judging my kids. Um, this is my second least favorite live action Star Wars movie, and the bottom three if we include the Clone Wars.
What's your
Um,
what's your bottom?
What's the worst?
Was
Attack, Attack
Okay.
of the
really?
Clones and Rise of Skywalker
Okay.
flip flop. It's actually realistically
That's
it is the
fair.
Clone Wars movie as the bottom, and then those two.
Sure.
Um, but
What's the
I like the Clone Wars movie. It's fun for what it is.
sure?
Um, so the caveats are this movie is a mess, but and it went through production hell
Yeah.
for reasons both controllable and uncontrollable.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't dislike like what it does lore wise. I just think it does a lot of the things badly. And
Sure.
like so overall I'm a defender, but just because I like Star Wars, I don't think it butchers the lore or anything, and I recognize that it went through it was just made in a rush because they
Well,
had to.
I think that's kind of the
You have
problem.
to.
It doesn't take any risks with the lore. It doesn't take
Well,
any
no.
risks with anything. A movie that just like directly terrified of any ingenuity and directly like terrified of its own fan base. And the reaction of Last Jedi, which we've covered on this show, I think is a direct response to what came of this movie. It just kind of plays the hits. It feels like J.J. Abrams is kind of, even from Force Awakens, like it feels like his job. He replaces Colin Trevorrow, who
Mhm.
still has a script credit though, which I remembered.
Yeah, I think
A
if you
story
write
credit.
it, like if you complete it, they have to give it to you.
Yeah. They also bring in Chris Terrio, which is not great. Um,
Oscar winner
Terrific. Good for him. For what? Argo?
Argo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And it just feels like Abrams is just like the errand boy, is the steward of the fan service. Stay safe. Don't take the risks. Unwilling to pull any punches. Like, oh, we killed Chewbacca. Just kidding. He's back. Oh, we've wiped C3PO's mind, and that was
Yeah.
a big thing. That was a big loss. Oh, just kidding. R2's got the memory bank. We're fine. Um, just
Ray's dead. Nope.
nope. Just kidding. It just feels creatively bankrupt from start to finish, and
Hmm.
I felt the same way I did. This is the only one of the sequel trilogy that I saw once in theaters.
Mhm.
I saw the rest
Hmm.
multiple times in theaters because I enjoyed them. I loved them.
Yeah.
Um, this does little to nothing for me. There's some parts that I find cool, like to your point, Davey, the lore. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with some of the stuff they carry out, but they just kind of drop beats altogether. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
I don't hate the overarching story. I just think it's not the most connected to humanity. That's a weird
yeah.
way to say that. It does not the most emotional story.
I mean, I don't. I mean, obviously, the elephant in the room is somehow Palpatine returned, right? Like, we're just like, we don't know what to do here. Let's just do Jedi again. And
Hmm.
which is a shame because I think Last Jedi set up a ton of great stuff. And even to my understanding, Trevorrow and Johnson like were communicating like a little bit about like what like there was even a conversation where they're like, put this scene in so I can do follow through with this in my movie or something like that,
They
right?
did a little of that between 7 and 8 too.
Mhm.
I'll say this as someone who's like read decent chunks of Trevorrow's script. It's bad. And Colin Trevorrow is also a bad director who hasn't made like anything I've really loved.
Yeah,
Book of
Um,
Henry, come on, man,
I
I
haven't.
think
I To be fair, I didn't see it.
bad,
I
really
think I
bad.
would take. I have not read the script, but I know the gist of it and know the highlights. And I just think there's something about the badness of it that feels so George Lucas in a way. And like like the risks that it's taken, the direction it's trying to do feels like more Phantom Menace than Reddit slop that we got. Like I think I guess that's all to say I'd rather have that, I think.
I
Can,
think
as someone
that
who doesn't know
combined
the
with
script, could you give me like a taste of
I'll
the
let Davey tell
differences or
you about
maybe like where it was going?
Kylo, like they go back to Coruscant, the First Order heads back there. Um, Kylo,
Cool.
it like triples down. He doesn't get redeemed, I don't think. I think he like
That's good.
doubles and triples down, but I think in like a overly cruel way. It's been
Cool.
a while. There's a line I've talked about this with at least some of you before. In one of the scene directions, it's like General Hux is like looking up at the sky as like the Resistance is there and winning, and he's like, in that moment, General Hux realizes he's lost the Star Wars, and
It's
I
a
think
script though. It's not
I
like they're
know
not going to pop that up on screen.
that
Yeah.
I wish
It's just
I'm
conveying
imagining
the
him, but
emotion
no,
and
I
the
think that's a kind of cheese.
because it's right before or after he seppukus himself with Mace Windu's lightsaber.
Yeah,
It's
which he's
sick.
found.
That's kind of cool.
What?
Yes, dude. And the wasn't it called Star Wars like Duel of the Fates?
That's what that one script was called. Yeah. My only thing is too, like, I don't. It might have the script might have had some George magic, but I don't trust Trevorrow to translate that on
Maybe not.
screen.
Maybe
No,
not.
I mean he's
Yeah.
fine playing with his
My,
dinosaurs. Yeah,
Yep.
Is he?
yeah.
I don't. Maybe not.
Well, like for me, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan compared to, the panel that we have here. Like I'm definitely like the more casual viewer. But as someone who like appreciates the original trilogy and like what it represented and like how this like the Indiana Jones Legacy sequel feels like a cool way to like approach, new age fascism and colonialism. How do we like tackle it? And then it turns out it's like, oh, Hitler's back actually, and we're back with like his Hitler like Nazi army, and we're not actually tackling like de-radicalization and or like change. You know what I mean? Like it kind of just like really loses the metaphor and just says we're literally going back to the original guy instead of building off of what we've built up this entire time. And it feels like it takes the wind out of the sails immediately. Like literally in the opening crawl, it's like, oh, okay, like I don't know
Yeah,
how to feel about that. And then obviously, Jeff has really swayed me on The Last Jedi. I'm a Last Jedi truther now. Like I think it's the best that it has to offer in that new trilogy, and it doesn't want to reward any of the writing in that, and it undoes so much character progression for Kylo Ren, who I think was maybe not necessarily a good guy, but definitely like not the guy that he ends up being in this, where he is maybe changed a little bit, and in this one he literally is like reforging the helmet and like putting it back on just to show like how much he's regressed
yeah.
developmental wise. I don't know, like it just really doesn't work for me in that way most of all.
I
Go,
think.
go ahead, Davey.
Oh, sorry. I think politically, the one thing it under explains like it does with everything. But the one thing I like that it does highlight a little bit is that they do win by making us feel alone. The isolation tactics of fascism
Sure.
are what
Sure.
Hmm.
keeps people down. And that I do like, and again, super underexplained, that their final like fleet is just people showing up for each other. Now, should they have shown
Sure.
that sequence of them gathering people and like the movement and the actual thing instead of just one big shot of like, look at all these random ships?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
fine, but it's predictable. I mean, it's
And
yeah, good.
post Andor, when you kind of see like boots on the ground, like what the resistance looks like and how it's not easy and how it's messy and people get lost along the way and credit is, not given to the right people. And it's just like, daily grinding just to get an inch forward, just for this to be like, oh, I hope people show up. And then like an insane amount of people show up and it to the point where, and I have the issue too of like this fleet is so big and the resistance is so big, like the stakes just don't feel like anything. It feels like there's a million bad guys and a million good guys and the good guys are going to win. I don't know. It just
It,
doesn't feel
it
like
feels
anything to
so
me.
funny. Like at the end of every movie in this trilogy, like you are led to believe that like we're decimated. There's only a few of us left. And then all of a sudden,
Hmm.
all these we're actually right where we were and we're actually fine. Um,
Especially end of Last Jedi, they're all like they fit everyone, at
on
least
what
who's
like
there
two
on the
ships.
Falcon.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, that must be it. But no, and they're
Yeah.
like, oh, we're back. Rebellions are easy. So but yeah, to your point, Jackson, Andor does a great job of that. Comparing this to Andor is like
Hmm.
comparing a filet mignon to dog water. So
I think like in I mean, I think from a production value perspective, it's really poor. Like it is like drinking water from a fire hose pacing wise.
yeah, it's
And
Oh,
very
the
fast.
first half especially is
it, it's
unrelentingly
it's
bad.
you like I noticed it on the first watch. It's just like holy shit, like there's just no time for anything to like breathe or sit or like enjoy it or not enjoy it. It's just like it's craziness. I fucking hate it and it's inexcusable. Like I'm like seeing red. Like wow, like you are a professional filmmaker. Like fucking slow it down. Um, they even cut out like a really cool sounding portion at the beginning because the opening sequence of Kylo kind of on this journey to hunt down kind of this mystery, like this voice echo from the past is an interesting premise and they shot this like cool puppet animatronic thing of like this Sith oracle that like comes out. He's like really like freaky looking. He like comes out of this bog and they just
Mhm.
cut it. And it's like that would have been such a great way to like slow it down, set the stakes. Instead they just zap you. And then on the emotional side, like even from the lore perspective, I think some of the things work like in the dyad of the force and that kind of a thing is I can buy into that. But
Sure.
I think when you watch like, and I know I've cooked on this many times on the pod, but like Ryan Johnson looked at where we had Ray, where all she had, the only thing she ever wanted in this world was to belong to someone and to have her family. So
Hmm.
the only thing you could do to break that character was to make her from nowhere. And that's what he did. And it broke her.
Yep.
And she almost turned into the fucking Sith because of it. And like in because she was offered this extended hand and this family in Kylo Ren, and then she chose good and she chose light, and they made that choice. And then they just like immediately flip it back around and say, "Oh yeah, just kidding. You not only are you from the famous family, but you're from the most famous family, and they're evil," which is the exact same thing that Luke deals with when he wants to belong and he's confronted with that
Hmm.
he's from an evil family. It's the same fucking conflict that we've already seen in Star Wars, the same reconciliation path. Like it,
Except you lose the benefit of having Vader also conflicted, because Sidious is not conflicted ever.
no,
Right. I mean, you
I
lose the
do
good
appreciate a
evil foil.
mustache twirl, but there's no emotional like
No.
fight with
And
Sidious.
the way they retcon it too is just abysmal. Where like they're talking, they still do this cool thing they introduced in Last Jedi, where like Rey and Kylo are like talking in different
yep,
places. Like that's
which
still
works.
super cool. They carry that out. I'll give them that.
Hmm.
But then Kylo says something like, "Your parents were nobody; they chose to be." You're like, "Come on!" Like
It's
that
yeah,
is
it's
just
the
so
same bullshit
And
when
yeah, the
Obi-Wan's like
fact
from a
that
certain point of view.
yeah.
and it's also just insane too that like they and I don't know if I caught this the first time I watched it. This is the second time I've checked this out. Luke and Leia knew that she was Palpatine's granddaughter, and it's like
Horrible
that
retcon.
is kind of
Sure.
important information. Like
Yeah.
it's just like that kind of takes you out of it, an even extra layer for that. Uh,
You have to wonder
yeah.
what this would have been. We haven't even mentioned it, but Carrie Fisher died in 2016.
Yep.
After, like
Yeah.
shortly after they Last Jedi comes out in 2017. And the way these were supposed to be set up, Davey was telling us today, but like the first trilogy
I
was supposed to be like Han Solo, or like the first Force Awakens was Han Solo's vehicle, Last Jedi Luke's, and then Carrie Fisher was supposed to have this last one. So I'm not
Yeah,
excusing it, but it's a
The
excuse, I
execution was
guess.
poor. You can definitely tell that they're writing dialogue around those outtakes as
Right.
opposed to
yeah.
Hmm.
like
So
they're letting that dictate the scene. It doesn't work for me.
their solution, instead of recasting, or I'm glad they didn't do CGI. I think they did one of the only two things they could. Although I don't think, I mean, I think Rock in a Hard Place, like they just used outtakes from the Force Awakens, not outtakes, but like they just used extra
Alternate
footage
scenes.
from the Force Awakens
Hmm.
and built
Hmm.
scenes. Like it doesn't super work. Leia's
You
most
can
powerful
feel
scene
it
in the
too.
movie is when she is faceless and is like walking toward her death,
Hmm.
um, which is unfortunate. But also, I don't know what to do. I don't know.
And just like it's more of a critique of the overall choice, which again, like it's Disney and JJ from the first one of like we need to interlock these characters with the original people, otherwise nobody will care about this story. And it's like that's not Star Wars fans love the weirdest fucking people in this. Like it does not need to be so directly tied to the
It just,
core
I think
three.
by episode nine, you've earned it. Like
Sure.
episode seven is reintroduction. It's a trilogy. I mean, it's the first
Yeah.
act,
Yeah.
and then the second act, you have them like on these arcs where they're stress test, and Kylo almost goes light, and she almost goes dark, and then they have this moment at the end of eight where there's literally a door that separates them, and they both made their choice. And now eight, like, let's go forward and be these new characters on these paths and close it out.
And then they
But like to your point, Jackson, Kylo remakes his mask. She reforges the lightsaber. They totally sideline Kelly Marie Tran,
Oh yeah, she's
embarrassed
yeah.
gone.
of her, which is inexcusable. They go back to the Death Star wreckage. They bring back Palpatine. Like it's so
Billy D. Williams is there again,
yeah.
like for who knows why. They see him and then they're like, he's like, my fighting days are over, and then he shows up without any. He's like, hey kid, like you're like, oh okay, your fighting days are not over. You're back. So yeah, there's just so much of that. Like they give Chewie his medal. Like why does that
Yeah.
matter? Like in this context,
In this moment, 35 years later,
yeah, he's like, what does this mean? But I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah, it just sucks. Like it's just like because I'm with you, Davey. I'm not a Reddit troll. I'm not a Twitter guy who's like, fuck Disney Star Wars. I hate Kathleen Kennedy. I love Disney Star Wars. There's just so
Yeah.
much gorgeous stuff in my life that I wouldn't have. Star Wars would be sitting on a shelf right now. Like I love it.
Hmm.
But like it just hurts like when you have this thing and you were in this such great place of like story, like what Ryan Johnson did with the story was like brave in a way, which is why a lot of people
Yeah.
got upset. And then just to like shit all over that. And now they're doing the same bullshit with Mandalorian and bringing fucking Grogu back in the middle of an offshoot show,
Hmm.
like via R2D2. Like it's just like the whole thing is just like, God, like have a fucking backbone and at least I'd respect it. Like at least
I
George
Yeah.
had Metachlorians and was like, fuck you guys, I'm gonna sell it. Like,
he that was part of his sequels. I do think the legacy characters like were a holdover, at least part of a holdover from his drafts, because like the crate stuff, not the crate, the Luke on his own being a hermit was all
yeah.
George.
Yep.
Training a new girl.
Kira.
Yeah, they didn't. I mean, like I want to I want to live in a dream world where they stick with who's direct. I don't want it to be Colin, but they stick with who's writing and directing nine, and also Carrie doesn't die, and also they're given an appropriate amount of time to work with because they
Yeah.
fired Colin, they had to rewrite it, then Carrie died, and they had to rechange their whole plan. And Bob Iger, former CEO of Disney, coincidentally also CEO when Mandalorian and Grogu was being made for the Grogu problems. But
Mhm.
like he wouldn't give them extra time. He just said you have to release it on this original date. We're not going to move it.
Which, I
Sorry.
mean, in retrospect, worked to an extent because it would have been, in theory, pushed to 2020.
COVID.
So, like, I get that, but yeah,
You're
yeah,
saying Iger knew that COVID was coming?
I just think
Whoa.
Disney
you can
planned back.
feel production strain on it. JJ feels tired.
You
Like
can, yeah.
Mhm.
he
I
doesn't
mean,
have
you
the
can,
same fervor and confidence
yeah.
that he had in seven.
I mean, in this 2 year period, I mean, you can feel it. Like, even with Solo, like, we had Miller and Lord in there. And then halfway through production, they're like, let's get Ron Howard in here. Let's get somebody that'll just like service what we want to do. And then, with this, and then this kills Star Wars theatrical output for 7 years. Like
Hey,
they,
it's better than the 15.
But the first thing
well,
that they're
yeah,
putting out, like post this
Yeah.
era, is in the
TV
same
show.
vein of like morally or creatively bankrupt. Like they've announced a lot of really exciting or ambitious projects, but the only one they've had the fucking balls to put out in theaters is like
Something
the
based
toy
on
selling
something,
machine.
yeah, that
Right.
I
revolves.
think
But that
it's
doesn't even really even push toys anymore because we're so tired of it. Like it,
Yeah.
unironically, like, and I know this is just a cop-out answer, and I know there's more depth to this. Iger, this was like an Iger push too. Just you need to get something in theaters now. What's the first thing you can do? You have to do this.
right. We're like, well, we already have the volume set up.
Yeah,
Might as
and
well
so
throw Pedro in the suit. Actually, don't
Right.
even
and
let it be
so,
Pedro.
well, it is Pedro now.
Oh yeah, now.
Um, and I think like that just speaks like I guess that just influences my opinions on Disney as a whole. Um, just to see how the company is run because like it's no longer necessarily creative forward. Like we're past the
No.
days of like Pixar magic, of like Iron Man 1, of all that stuff of just like pure, just like tell a story.
Yeah, we're
And
just
now it's
iterating
just
on everything that came
Toy
before.
Story 5 this summer. I'm actually
But
excited for that.
you see it like even in like in the parks and stuff. It's like every day it's more expensive but less to offer.
Yep.
Like
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're squeezing you, and it's just
It's just
sad
it's
because
just a
like
bummer. Like even like even to your point, cool characters they introduced in this, like Force Awakens. Hux is like really compelling. He gives this amazing
mhm.
like Hitler-esque
Hmm.
speech. And then in this one, he's like, actually, guys, I'm a spy and I'm gonna just die very just
Killed in the next scene.
killed in the next
Like it's just
scene. There's
yeah.
no payoff to this. It's just like everyone looks at themselves in the theaters like, what? What?
Yeah.
What did they
I
do?
do like
And
his
then
reasoning. I like the Nazi infighting of like this guy sucks so bad. I don't even give a shit anymore about my cause.
Sure. I mean,
I mean, no, it's
but it just
paper thin.
becomes
I think it's
yeah.
fun.
They,
yeah.
they play
It'd
them
be
off for
interesting if
laughs.
they cannibalize themselves more, but like it's not. They kind of just kill that one guy. Kylo fucks off, and then whatever his name is, the guy who I do like the new Empire guy that like
Richard Lee Grant.
reports. I
Yeah,
forget the
he's
actors.
good.
Yeah, he's great, but like it's just boring. It's just not that
As
interesting.
I
And then they
served
do
you in the
introduce
old
some.
days. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think there's an opportunity there for that to be the one of the main conflicts of nine is the infighting of
Yeah.
like
hmm
That'd
you
be
have
cool.
Snoke's dead, so the central figure's out, who they were both vying for his attention. Kylo is this religious fanatic who is gonna have some like zealous supporters, and he clearly views himself as the supreme leader, Ren,
Hmm.
Kylo, or whatever you want to say. But he like Hux is not played for laughs at all in seven or eight. I mean, maybe a little in eight, but like
Yeah.
he like I feel like there's opportunity for him to have his loyalists, and like he has this view of the galaxy because he's been born in like the lore is his dad was one of the people who like was part of his dad was part of Palpatine's post six plans of like going to the outer or the
Yeah.
wild space and like having these child soldiers and stuff. So that he's born and bred in this world. Like he is like the culmination of the Nazi kids or whatever they call those that initiative.
Nazi youth.
Yeah, Nazi youth. So it's like him being more in the Force Awakens bag, and then like them having that conflict. I feel like is how you proceed with nine. But like, yeah, he just instantly turns into a puppet.
I would have liked them cannibalizing, but I'm glad they didn't do it to Hux. Because even in seven, like I didn't play it for laughs, but Hux was a loser back then too.
Right,
Like
he's always a
the
loser, but
I don't think he would have had fault. I think everyone would have just been like, okay, he's in charge, but
okay, maybe
It's
I have a
mostly
bad.
just like the actor is good enough to like
yeah.
use more,
Yeah,
and
you just
like they
waste
didn't
Donald
use it very
Gleason.
well.
You
Hmm
waste Kelly Marie Tran, like we talked about. You waste Carrie Russell.
hmm
We don't even see Carrie Russell's face. Are you kidding me?
You see your
Like that
eyes.
is ridiculous. Yeah, you see her eyes,
Yeah,
and
I
then
was gonna
they're
say
like,
like
"Can we kiss with her and Poe?" You're like, "Okay, come on."
Well, how do you know he's straight?
they okay.
They kill that
Also,
completely.
yes,
They're like, "John Boyega,
the
this is not happening."
Poe
Yeah,
Finn ship was so strong going into it, and they even hint at it. They feel like a married couple at times, like in this movie, even like the way that they're dynamic, their friendship. It feels more than a friendship to me,
yeah,
and it really sucks that they like just completely write that away.
they kill it. They
Um,
introduce Naomi
and then like they
Ackie.
add like a yeah, who is like an interesting character and concept, but like they didn't write her well. She's like she has this implied spin-off with Billy D. Williams or whatever, like at some
Yeah,
point. Like,
whatever the hell that is.
the child soldier character, like it's just a mess.
Finn, they totally waste him in this too. Of like, I mean, he's
They,
part of the main trio, and they just like his whole bit is that he's trying to tell Rey this secret the whole time, and the
And then
secret
it
is
never even
I'm a
comes
Jedi
out.
now, even though like that just so clearly that wasn't his arc at all in the
No,
first two.
not at all.
he tells
Um,
it more to Naomi Aki at the end. He keeps like
right.
whispering things to her, which doesn't she doesn't know you.
It just feels
Yeah,
like back to Carter's original point of just like of this just total regression all the way across the board. Is that's in the same vein of like, well, he had a lightsaber in the poster 8 years ago, so
yeah.
like, I guess we'll just give him force powers now.
I would have liked him to become a Jedi. I think that would have been interesting. But the way that they set up anything, there's
Jackson,
no payoff
the
for
only
it.
way you can be a Jedi is if your last name is Skywalker. That's clearly
Yep.
what we've learned in this sequel trilogy. You can't be nobody.
Yeah.
You can't
Oh,
be the
there's
boy.
Mhm.
You can't be the boy with the broom. You have to
Yeah,
either be a
fuck that
Palpatine or a
kid.
Skywalker. That's
I
the
love the boy with the
only thing.
broom.
And then, it, yeah, and then so the whole deal is like, explain this to me. The whole deal was that if Rey kills Palpatine, she embodies all the Sith and takes the throne. But then, so the solution to not doing that was Rey kills
Killing him.
Palpatine.
I think
Yeah, Palpatine's
the
plan makes no
None of
fucking
it makes
sense.
sense. It
no,
doesn't.
I
None
think
of
He
it.
has
the canon
yeah,
reason is Ray had to actually be the one to kill him,
Right. It's
like
like
hit
it's the
him.
same thing as like when he tempts Luke in six of strike me down, like
Right.
giving you
sure.
a
Yeah.
kid.
He also has like an entire stadium full of,
Sith.
cloaked
It's Kang. It's
loyalists,
the
and it's like
Kangs. Yeah.
what what's going on there?
Not
And
sure.
yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, you're like the dyad, the force dyad," which I again is a really cool idea that they've like elaborated on in a way that I do like.
Mhm.
But now it's like, okay, well now you're not going to kill me. I'm going to kill you and get extra strong,
There
and
you
I'm
go.
just going to be my old
Snipe.
self again. Is like,
Exegol as a concept works, I think, if it's done well. Like if it could even be hinted at or teased. Like you don't even have to give the full punch till nine, but like make it feel earned and
Mhm.
developed in any kind of way.
Yeah. How many times can you be shocked if you're the rebellion? They're like, oh, they have a weapon that can blow up a planet.
Don't get me started.
How many
I
times
will
can you be like, whoa?
I will say I at least appreciated that like whenever they did blow up the planet, it kind of felt like they mimicked like the effects of the time from the original
Yeah,
trilogy.
It
it
looked
was
Like it
good.
didn't feel
practical.
like a modern planet. I was like, that looks cool. Like at the very least,
Yeah.
you kind of get that like practical feel to that. But yeah, I agree. Like not everything needs to
In,
be a
in,
planet exploding.
in the classic defense of that is, well, George painted himself in the corner by making that the planet killer first time out, and then how do you raise the stakes from there? But the best movies in Star Wars are the ones where they don't, like Episode 5, they don't blow up planets. Episode 8, they don't blow
Yeah.
up planets. Episode 3, they don't blow up planets. Like there's like it's Rogue One, fucking Andor. Like I guess
Episode one, episode two.
might be a bad example, but uh, like it's like just tell a fucking character-driven story in this context, and I'll suck your dick. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it can
Whoa.
be easy to do
You
this
heard it
right.
here first, filmmakers.
Yeah.
John
Jeff
Favreau.
Brown on his knees waiting for you.
Yeah. I guess
I will.
just all in all, just my opinions of it are just like it's really just disappointing. Like I felt like the first two were very, very good for what they were. Like, yes, people have the gripe of Force Awakens that like it's a repeat, a retread, but at least there's some compelling storytelling in there. Harrison Ford is like having a ball in that movie, and it's really great. He, by the way, he shows up here for God who knows why.
Oh,
Um,
because that was Carrie's scene, and he
oh,
only
okay.
signed up because Carrie was.
Mm.
They were like, "We have Carrie for this. We want some familial connection. Will you come back?" And he was like, "Fine for
I feel like
Carrie."
But I
okay.
give the hot take that I think it should have been Luke.
I was about to say it. It probably should have just been Luke. It probably would have
Yeah,
been a
Because
bigger
it
punch.
ties into episode 8 of the See Around kid. He was kind of a father figure more than Han in some ways in terms of being around him in his
Yeah,
formative years. It's closure on their conflict because that's when he turns to the light. So
yeah.
maybe like he should also be there during that moment.
I will say that is
I
one of
agree with
my
that.
the Han Ben scene on the Death Star ruins is one of my favorite scenes in that movie because I do like how it mirrors the end of Seven. I like how it mirrors their
Totally.
walkway thing and it flips
Mhm.
it into him finally doing the right thing.
Sure.
Um,
My
for
final
what it
Yeah.
gripe,
was.
my final gripe is just that, and then I'll stop talking about Rise of Skywalker, maybe forever. My final gripe is that Rey takes Leia and Luke's sabers and buries them on Tatooine. Leia has no allegiance to Tatooine,
And neither did Luke.
and like
Oh,
why? Yeah,
where's he
Luke
gonna
would
bury
have gotten
Leia's?
off. Yeah, he wanted to leave at any reason.
she,
There's like that
yeah.
famous interview of Hamill being like, "Yeah, I'd like to believe that Luke's character would have joined the Empire if it meant getting off of Tatooine. Like he just didn't like it there."
Should have taken it to
Um,
Alderaan. Oh wait.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
not
but
only that, but like the symbol of like I'm burying the lightsabers. We're burying this legacy. Who are you? I'm the Rey Skywalker. It's like, okay, again, you just undid the very last thing you showed
Yeah.
her doing.
I wish it was. I wish there
Yeah.
was payoff there in that scene because the final shot's good. Her and BB-8 in the
Hmm.
binary sunsets is good. That looks great.
Yeah.
Great way
Great.
to cap it off. But everything before it is not good.
I will say one thing this movie does better. It's actually one thing I think two and nine do better than all the others. Is except maybe four or five. No, four. It actually shows the trio together, which most of them don't do.
Sure.
Except like
Yeah.
Poe and Ray don't meet until the end of eight, which is
Sure.
crazy for the trio. The original trio is split up for most of five and most of six.
Sure.
Um, and the trio in the prequels is barely together except in the Geonosis scene and when Padme is unconscious on Mustafar.
Fair.
So I do like that there is some
Mm.
actual like trio friendship, but yeah.
I don't know. They hang out a lot in Naboo, don't they? Well, maybe not.
Mm. I
Fair.
guess I view it differently because it's not Hayden.
Yeah, that's fair.
Anyway,
Sure.
that's neither here nor there.
Final remarks.
Sigh.
it's yeah,
I hope Starfighter's good.
I,
won't be.
yeah.
I've heard it will. I've heard test screenings are strong.
That's
Yeah,
great.
I'm sure amongst the fucking idiot crowd. Jesus Christ. I'm glad they showed it at a fucking
I just want to shout
showing.
out. I think the glub shittos of this movie are actually really strong. I like Babu
Mhm.
Frick. I like
Blood.
the guy that says okay.
Okay.
I like the other
That
globby
was excellent.
guy.
Claude,
Yeah,
Claude,
Claude.
my
And then
hero.
Dio, I think is kind of cute in
Yeah,
voiced
like a
by J.J.
weird
Abrams, right?
J.J.
yeah.
Abrams. Yeah. They introduced force healing, I think, in this movie, and I think that's a cool power. I dig
Yeah.
that.
Out of
Um,
nowhere. Yeah.
I think
What we
C3PO,
do?
like that scene of him losing himself and then like the subsequent humor, I think really works.
Hmm.
And
Oh
then they
yeah,
undo it, and I think that
that
sucks.
that scene is so strong when
That
he's like,
scene,
Mhm.
yeah,
It
sorry
slows
for
way
stepping
no,
down
in.
too.
But when yeah, it slows the movie way down, and they have a
Mhm.
moment, like an appropriate reflection in the ninth movie of the series of like, I'm just like looking back at all my friends.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Fucking undo
great.
it.
And then they
In
really
the
undercut it,
strong.
same movie.
completely undercut it. And R2 is not
Yeah.
even R2 is very underutilized in the
Uh,
In
movie.
this whole trilogy. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Unrelate, like sort of tangentially related. That's why we disregarded Rise of Skywalker for the trivia. Because I was like, why would R2 be the
Fair.
mascot bucket for this
Fair,
movie?
actually. Yeah, that's a good
Good point.
point.
Way to bring it
And then
back.
also a final thing for me, I feel like maybe Kylo Ren's like Knights of Ren should have at least like been on his side in that cannibalized, fascist
Yeah, they
movement. Maybe he
fumbled
has this
that.
subsect of people.
Mhm.
Then they're like, no, they're back, but they're with Palpatine and they're fighting Kylo, and then it's like not even that cool to begin with. I don't know. For like in that way, I just don't think that really pays off for me.
I agree. What's in the box?
What's in the box? What's in the fucking
Where do you
box?
guys got this ranked?
For
Um,
me, for our Sing Double ranking, I have Dial of Destiny at 3, below Like Mike and above Princess Diaries 2. And then The Rise of Skywalker is last for me at 12 so far,
damn.
just below Percy Jackson for me. It's a fumble of fumbles.
I've got Dial of Destiny at 1. Despite everything we said.
Okay.
I've got it above Friends with Benefits, which was previously at 1. Um, and I have Rise of Skywalker. This is out of 12 movies now. I think we've done.
Yes.
I have Rise of Skywalker at 8. I have it below the game plan and above no strings attached. I still found some stuff, okay, I like the Death Star wreckage stuff. That stuff looked cool.
I have Dial of Destiny at 1 as well, above the game plan, which has been there
Nice.
since episode 1 of this season. And then I have Rise of Skywalker, for as much as I just shit on it and danced on its grave, I just have it at 4.
Dang.
I mean, I really haven't enjoyed a whole lot this season.
It's been a rough season.
It's below Percy Jackson, and above Princess Diaries 2. I did until we started recording. I had it at number 2, actually. And as we've been talking about it, I'm like, you know what? I actually fucking hate it. So
Jeff, respectfully, that's crazy.
yeah, I mean, it's still
I agree.
it's the Davy thing. It's still Star Wars. Like, feed it to me.
I mean, yeah, that's why I gave it
No.
That's why I gave it
Yeah.
2 stars instead of half a star, because like it is Star Wars and it's there's an inherent bias there.
That's our show. Carter, where can they follow us?
You can follow us on Letterboxd at RCR Pod. You can follow us on Instagram at roughcut_pod. Follow us on Spotify, all those good places, Apple Music, wherever you get your podcasts. Check us out there. Shout out Film Yap. Always love them being supportive of us. And thanks to Davy for always being game to hop on and talk whatever we want to talk to with them. So thank you, sir, for coming by as always.
Thank you for I say this every time. I love being here. I love you guys so much. You're the best people for a podcast. You know about movies. You love it. Thank you for having me. This is always the
Yeah.
time of my life.
We love you, Daniel.
Thanks, man.
Thanks,
We
man.
love you, dude.
Checks in the mail.
Yep.
Carter, safe travels. Don't,
Thank you.
Die in wherever you're going.
Switzerland.
I prefer you come back. Oh, yeah. Have fun.
I'll be in Switzerland, and
Have
next
fun,
week
man.
it'll be a surprise. Not sure what we're doing yet.
Yeah.
We'll let you know. But Davey will be back in a couple weeks to talk Mando. So
Mhm.
see you again soon.
Shout
sir.
out.
Can't
Until,
wait.
until then, bye bye.
Don't do this to me. I'm already seeing double.